I'm driving to PA, or the Maryland-Pennsylvania line, and meeting a guy to pick up a reverse shackle kit for my 1997 F350. My plan is to level it. I was going to do an add-a-leaf, but I've decided that I want to do a reverse shackle because they bind up when the shackles are in the front. This moves the shackles to the rear, does a drop, gives me about a 3-inch lift, level the dually out pretty nice. So stay tuned and you can watch me attempt to put in a reverse shackle kit, which I've never done before, but let's get this dually leveled out. And tomorrow I'll be going to get a fender, probably 2 fenders possibly, to sand down and get ready to paint the truck. So here we go. The weather's pretty shitty. I mean, I really wish the sun would come back out, but at the same time, this weather is what lets me build things. So, because if the sun was out, I'd be on the bike and I would not be on the road. Well, it's early, but today's the day. I'm going to install that lift today. I'm not going to do it here at the house. I'm going to run over to a friend's big shop I use quite often, and yeah, I'm going to do it in there with heat because I've got like 300 motorcycles in here, or 3 motorcycles and a 4-wheeler and a 0-turn and a tractor. So I'm going to load everything up and we're headed to Spotsylvania. And we're going to install this reverse shackle kit. Hopefully I didn't get shafted and I got all the parts because I bought it used, because I'm a cheap son of a bitch. Oh. So what some of you may or may not know is that almost 2 years ago I purchased my absolute dream truck. About every year I buy a 97 Power Stroke F350 and I restore it. Now when I say I restore it, I bring it back to life. I've got some old man swerving at me at the moment, or that could have been a woman, who knows. But anyway, I bring it back to life. Usually they're high mileage, they've just been neglected. I do the body work, go through the motors, and I never pull the motors and rebuild because they're rarely needed. But, so 2 years ago I purchased a 1997 7.3 Power Stroke, crew cab, long bed, 4-wheel drive dually with a manual transmission. That has always been my dream truck, the 4-wheel drive dually. I just love the way it looks. And I know that they didn't make this truck, that this truck had to be sent out to a company. Well, when I got this truck, and you'll see here in just a second, this truck was totaled. So the kid who had the truck before me, not to dog him too much, but he was a dopehead. His grandfather gave him the truck. His grandfather was a really nice guy too. His grandfather gave him the truck and he was trying to load a glass blunt. Now, I used to smoke a lot of weed back in my day, but we just smoked out of a bowl or a joint or a pop can or whatever. But, so this kid was trying to load a glass blunt, ran the truck off the road and dead centered a tree. Well, when he hit the tree, it folded the front bumper in. You'll see in the pictures. And it bent the frame, pulled the frame in just ahead of the spring hangers. So, yeah, he wanted $6,000 for this truck. I wasn't paying that. That's ridiculous. The truck's not worth that. Oh, the truck would have had to be mint from the fucking front wheels back. And it just wasn't. It was just neglected by this kid who all he cared about was getting high. So, brought the truck home and I started to tear down. I couldn't wait to drive this truck. So I needed a core support. I needed air conditioner, condenser, radiator. It snapped the fan off the water pump. It didn't hurt the water pump. That was the weirdest thing. So I guess that wasn't the weirdest thing, but that was weird to me. So through Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, I've been able to chase down most of my parts. Now, I also want to give, I'm not sponsored on this at all. Let me get the sun out of your ass. I'm not sponsored on this at all. This is all just my money from my paycheck, and I'm not rich. Just because I wear Carhartt doesn't make me rich, and I don't wear Carhartt in my videos because they pay me. But it's just my work clothes. But we've got a local junkyard called Pick Apart. I don't know if you're local to the Northern Virginia, Fredericksburg area, but I love dealing with these people. It's a lot of Spanish folks, but so if you've got an issue with Spanish people, I don't know what to tell you, but I love these guys. But I've been able to find very, very nice interior parts and body panels. I'm actually going probably tomorrow to pull 2 completely rust-free fenders to get this thing ready for paint. I grabbed a hood the other day, and I had already had a hood, but it had a few dents in it that it was on the knoll of the center of the hood. I wasn't happy with that. I didn't want to put a bunch of body filler in there. So anyway, I'm going today over to my friend's shop, and I'm going to install the reverse shackle lift kit. Now, this is something I purchased off Marketplace. I don't know the brand. It seems pretty well built, and I don't know if all the parts are there because I don't know what brand it is. It appears that everything is there that I need to reuse the stock springs, just to basically give me a 3-inch lift in the front, which levels it out, moves the shackles to the rear, which stops any binding, because when it compresses the springs, it binds up in the front, and I've got more movement in the rear. I don't need the axle moving towards the front, and that pulls on the drive shaft, like all my hand movements. But anyway, let me turn this heat down. So I'm tooling around now in my truck. I love this old truck. As you can see, the headliner, I've redone the headliner. I love doing those. I just went with a jersey material sheet from Walmart out of a twin sheet set. You can buy single sheets. That's what I use. I'm not spending money on headliner material when I can just go to Walmart, which I hate Walmart. I'm a Lidl fan. I hate Walmart. Fucking hate Walmart. And apparently I work there now if I use their self-checkout. So anyway, sheets and spray on adhesive. Get yourself a little iron if you want to do that. Later on I might show you guys how to do it, because I've got another project truck I'm thinking about purchasing. But regardless, stay tuned. Hope you enjoy this video. It's going to be a bit of a long one. I might make this a 2-part. And this is something a little different. Normally I work on motorcycles, but I have a passion for diesel trucks, and my camera keeps turning. You should see the setup I have. I have my camera mount on its side with a glove as a counterweight, and I'm trying to stop here. I'm waving at you. Stop that sun. But that's what we do here. Everything's just however we can get it done. But hope you like my fuckboy hat. I like to wear those when I'm working on shit. My hair's looking a little rough today. Here we'll go. We'll go real fuckboy and go sideways. That way everybody's like, damn, man, all the bitches are gonna want to fuck me with as fuckboy as I look right now. If only I was blowing black smoke. Fuck! I mean, they'd be like, let me in! They'd all want to fuck. But I better calm down with the fuckboy fabulous here. So, anyway, stay tuned. Let's see what happens. So, as you can see that yellow thing right there? That's the strap that they used to pull the truck around after they wrecked it. But what's really needing to be said here is, so that's the front shackle. Let me get my, I'm not paying attention. That's the front shackle. So the new mounts are going to mount right there, right behind the bumper. And then the new shackles are actually going to be here, where that's a solid hanger. We're going to install an actual moving shackle. So that's the shackle, that's the bolts, that's the front bar. So let's get busy. I've also got a squeaking problem in here. So this bracket right there, the top and bottom, they're sliding. And when they slide, they're hitting my rotor. And that's causing the worst squeak ever. So this is where the new bracket will bolt up. So it's got the divots already made into it to slide into there. So let's get started. store. This is fine thread. This is fine thread. However, this one is fine thread, but I didn't get a fine thread nut. So we got to run to Tractor Supply. Also, in my dealings, notice the spring shifted. That's because that drag link, that's what I'm going to call it, drag link, I got to bust that loose so I can drag this front end back around. And then I'll hook it back up once it's got tension and everything back on the suspension. But we're almost there. Also, got to drill 2 holes on each side of the frame. Didn't know about that. It's a learning curve. I mean, I've never done this before, and I'm not looking it up. I want to do this all on my own. That's the way I fix most things. But I will say, YouTube is a very helpful tool. I do use it quite often. But, yeah. So far, this is an easy install. I don't know why anybody would pay anybody to do this unless you just didn't have, you know, concrete floor to work on. Basic tools. This here, here, here. That's all I've used. I'm not going to have to use anything real crazy. So, this is it. But, yeah, I got to go find a drill bit for those to put there. So, yeah. All right. So, day dos. That's Spanish for fucking second day. So the issue I had, which I wasn't able to record. Let's see if I can spin this around. No, you're stuck with me. Anyway, so the issue I had was that I couldn't get the bolts out of the rear spring hangers. They were seized up. So I had to cut them. But I found it easier. I don't know why I thought I was going to go. Look how I sweat. I don't know why I thought I was just going to take the easy route. And this is going to be so simple. Basically, it is a simple job if you do the right steps. So, step 1, take the bumper off. Step 2, take the U-bolts off. Lower the rear. I mean, just let it lower down. Make sure you've got the truck jacked up high enough. If you're working off a floor, you're going to have to get way up there. I don't know if you can see, jack stands way behind the rear hanger, which puts a lot of weight over the front, but the truck's balanced out pretty good. Get that rear down. Take the front off, put your cross member bar in, drill all the holes. That's 4 holes on each side through the frame. So make sure, that's a 1/2-inch drill bit on my kit. Make sure that you get the right bits, because I bought good bits, but it takes forever to drill through a frame. So, only went through 3 batteries on the old DeWalt, but that's all. Can you see that? There's 2 bolts on each side, plus the 1 bolt that goes through the stock hole where the stock shackle was mounted. So, get the rear down. The problem with working off the floor is you can't get an air gun to your U-bolt nuts. So that takes a little bit. I'm doing it with a breaker bar and very slowly, which hence the sweat. But I've already got one side done. I am noticing that the front rear is going to sit up a little bit towards the front, which I'm not too sure about that. So that's something I need to look at. Once I get it mounted up, maybe I put pressure on it. It's going to collapse the springs. You know, like I said, I've never done one of these kits, so, you know, trial and error. But it did kick the rear. Notice where this spring, alright, so this right here is center of my spring. You look across, you see the new one is over there. So it looks like it's going to bump this rear at this angle. But what I'm thinking is when the weight of the truck sits on it, it's going to do this number. It's just going to fall right into place, which it should happen like that. So this is me trying to get, if you look over there, that one's already done. This is me with the bolt stuck in there. It's seized up. As soon as it cleared, it seized. So I think a lot of that has to do with when you're hammering it, trying to get it out, you're mushrooming the end, which gets it stuck inside. So I'm working on taking, this one here, bam, is already loose, nuts are off. I'm working on this side now. As soon as I get that done, I've got the support jack. I'm going to lower this rear. The rear's only going to lower so much because I am leaving all the steering bars still in. That's not I guess that would be the steering linkage. Still connected. Still have this track bar there. Still connected. I'm probably going to take it loose. So, to give you a peek, that's already in. That side over there mounted over there. So also it's best to take your calipers off, tie them up here behind that. They'll tuck in right behind there. Bungee cord it, ratchet strap it, whatever you got to do, because when this rear comes down, that's a lot of pressure. It's so hard to find what I'm pointing at on screen. It's a lot of pressure on this, and you don't want to break that off, because good luck finding that at your local parts store if you have to drive this thing when you're finished. So could create some downtime. But with that being said, let's get back to it. Let's get these U-bolts off and get this rear drop down so I can cut that bolt. I got new bolts already from Fastenal, and which I should have went to Tractor Supply. Fastenal was extremely expensive. It was $20 for 4 bolts, 1/2 inch, 5 inches long replacement. And since I bought the kit used, it didn't come with those bolts. It was missing extra bolts. So it's best. I got grade 8. I wanted grade 9, but I got grade 8 bolts. So yeah, let's rock and roll.